지금 젊은 세대들은 한류 문화에 접한 세대거든요. 이쪽으로 다 찌그러졌거든요. 앞만 말해야 안 듣는 거예요. 그러니까 어린 애들을 갖다가 뭐 청살도 하고 그런 거 아닙니까?
There's been a sudden rush of news this month that may be particularly unpalatable for Pyongyang's regime, with defections from North Korea rising, including high-profile escapees. This is Looking North with myself, Alex Jensen. Let's take a closer look at what's been going on, starting with perhaps the most startling recent defector development. South Korea's National Intelligence Service last week confirmed a North Korean diplomat who'd been stationed in Cuba defected to the south last year. Ri Il-gyu had served as the counselor of political affairs at the North's embassy in Cuba before entering South Korea in November with his family. Apparently, he's even received a commendation from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in the past. So what happened? Why would this seemingly privileged, perhaps honored North Korean give up his status? In interviews with numerous South Korean media, he was driven to defect by disillusionment with the North Korean regime and a bleak future. He was also angered by an unfair work evaluation and the North's refusal of his request to receive medical treatment in Mexico. We might also consider the impact of South Korea forging formal ties with Cuba earlier this year. Ri's main mission upon returning to Cuba as a counselor in 2019 reportedly was to stop Havana from establishing diplomatic ties with Seoul. North Korea has long boasted of its brotherly relations with Cuba, but in 2022, Ri told North Korea's foreign ministry that there was the possibility of South Korea and Cuba forging formal ties. He explained that in a recent interview he gave to Yonhap News Agency, which we can share with you here, including his claim that numerous North Korean diplomats and overseas workers have attempted to defect to South Korea since the North began undoing its COVID-19 border closure last year.
분명히 2023년 8월 달 북한이 국경을 연다는 그런 신호가 2023년 3월, 4월 그때부터 나오기 시작했고 준비할 때 대한 그거 하고 그때 그 동료가 있었고 이제는 드디어 때가 됐다. 컴백이냐 아니면 탈출이냐라는 그걸 결심할 때가 됐다고 해서 정말 많은 분들이 갔습니다. 많은 분들이 갔고 대사관 인력도 갔고 직원분들도 갔고 그 해외 노동자로 파견돼서 갔던 분들도 갔고 그저 대략 그저 좀 제 개인적인 과장을 조금 숨는다면 한 50명 정도.
According to Ri, every North Korean thinks at least once about living in South Korea. But are we seeing numbers that support this interest in defecting? According to South Korean government data, the number of North Korean defectors arriving in the south reached 196 last year, which is nearly a threefold jump from the previous year. The figure for the first half of this year reached 105, up again from 2023. And an official at Seoul's Reunification Ministry in charge of inter-Korean affairs earlier said the number of such defectors with elite backgrounds came to around 10 last year, the highest since 2017. That's particularly interesting as it does suggest Ri is far from being alone in becoming unhappy with North Korea's regime. Ri is the first known North Korean diplomat to have defected to South Korea since COVID-19 struck. The last was the acting chief of North Korea's embassy in Kuwait in 2019. The same year, the former North Korean acting ambassador to Italy came to South Korea. And famously, Tae Yong-ho, former North Korean deputy ambassador to Britain, fled to the south in 2016. Tae, a lawmaker in South Korea until just recently, has just been appointed as the new Secretary General of the Presidential Advisory Council on Unification. He was appointed by South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, and he released a statement that may alarm the North. I hope that we, former North Korean diplomats, work together for reunification to make come true North Korean officials and residents' dream for their children to live freely in the Republic of Korea, Tae said. with the Republic of Korea, referring to South Korea. And he also expects more North Korean diplomats to defect going forward. Another factor that could influence that is pressure being placed on diplomats to send hard currency to the regime. Last November, Pyongyang's foreign ministry said it was restructuring overseas missions to boost diplomatic efficiency, which Seoul's Unification Ministry assessed as being affected by economic difficulties in the north. We are also apparently seeing a generational divide, as Ri also described in his Yonhap interview how young North Koreans are living under the huge influence of South Korea's pop culture despite the regime's crackdown.
지금 젊은 세대들은 한류 문화에 접한 세대거든요. 우리는 뭐 한류를 모르고 성장했고 끊임없는 그 세뇌를 받으면서 성장했고 하니까 이게 맹목적으로 추종을 하면서 굳어오면서 살았단 말이에요. 물론 꼬물어졌지만 이 사람들 같은 경우는 이 충성심하고 한류가 같이 들어왔는데 이쪽으로 다 찌그러졌거든요. 앞만 말해야 안 듣는 거예요. 그러니까 어린 애들을 갖다가 그 뭐 청살도 하고 그러는 거 아닙니까? 죽여도 젊은 사람들은 우리랑은 다릅니다.
This also explains why North Korea has been so upset by South Korea's loudspeaker campaign, broadcasting cultural content and news to North Koreans from the border, as well as anti-Pyongyang leaflets floated by North Korean defectors in the south back to their homeland. Not that life for them in the south is perfect. In recognition of this, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol unveiled related plans on July 14th, which was the South's inaugural North Korean Defectors Day. He vowed to enhance support for North Korean defectors so that they could find their footing south of the border. He said resettlement funds provided to the defectors stuck at the same level since 2005 will be substantially increased. The president also insisted that central and regional governments and state-run institutions will hire more defectors, and companies that employ defectors will be offered tax credits, among other incentives. South Korea is home to more than 34,000 North Korean defectors. Seoul has a long-standing policy of accepting North Korean defectors who wish to live in the south. It also has a policy of maintaining plans for reunification with the north, even though North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has formally abandoned Pyongyang's inter-Korean cooperation goals and structures. It's interesting that Ri told South Korean reporters that this state policy is at odds with the people. He claimed that North Koreans yearn for reunification, even more than South Koreans, on the basis that everyone believes that reunification is the only way for their children to have a better future. Perhaps that is also behind some defections, with Kim Jong-un stamping out hope for a unified Korean peninsula. Then again, Ri himself did also hold out his own hope.
독재가 그 용언해봤던 적은 없고 언젠가 그 시스템은 무너질 것이고 그 언제 무너진가를 기다리는 것보다는 그 가속화시키는 게 우리가 한데 해당되는 임무가 아닌가 이렇게 생각이 됩니다.
You could add your own comment on this. We'd also appreciate it if you give us a like and a subscribe. Tell people you know who are interested in North Korea related material about our channel and help us grow and keep helping you look north.